Inside the country, there was agitation for what should we do? We need a government that works. Now, Mzungu understood that the Godwin Tokos, the Yusuf Serunkuma, the Agathas, who are educated, the Godwin Toko, he give them money and tell them the lie that if government is not working, they can help government. If government is failing, they can hold government accountable. Give them money. So civil society sees as being the idea of a civilian society. People who are aware of it becomes an institution.
The Uganda Transporters Association that led to independence in the early days and all.
You have a budget and an office and people you pay. So having a public which is politically sensitive becomes an institutional thing. So Godwin Toko has to hold himself accountable. And you said, which put himself in power, has to pay Godwin Toko to hold himself in their man accountable. And Godwin Toko sits back and says, if Godwin was in public health, say, Nomlag is not working, but you can run a campaign. We'll give you money to run a campaign and improve public health. But look, it was states which did public service in the area of public health.
Okay.
Not individual people. So you see an explosion.
Behind every book is a hidden story, a conflict, a question unresolved, a dream waiting to be told. On Voice in Print, we uncover the minds behind the words, exploring the writing process, the creative bursts, and the quiet obsession that drives authors to transform fleeting thoughts into lasting pages.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, to Voice in Print. Godwin Toko is my name. I've hosted this for a couple of weeks now, and I'm sure that you can go and see the previous editions we've had. We've had famously Hassan Kasinje, who talked about his book Chosen. We've had Dr. Olive Kobusinje, who talked about her book The Patient, a very, very interesting story of Uganda's healthcare and why so many things are going wrong in that sector. We've had Godwin Toko talking about a paper they authored about the Ugandan army. Today I have another book with the author. First, the author is a common face. If you follow Ugandan media, he has written in The Observer since 2014. How many years are those? 9.
I think 9 now. Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
and I pride myself in having never missed a week.
2014, I was in my first year. We were striking over tuition increment.
We were looking for money.
I see. So I have with me Yusuf Serunkuma. Yusuf Serunkuma famously writes in The Observer. He appears on Ugandan TV, but also writes in Continental and other publications, Continental publications and others. So I know you write in ROP.
Yeah, Review of African Political Economy.
You write in The Elephant.
The Elephant, occasionally.
The Conversation, ever written there? No.
No.
Which one do you write for in Rwanda?
So the Pan-African Review, I think I was their columnist for 3 years, about 3 years.
3 years.
Right.
That's the one in Rwanda?
Yeah, Pan-African Review.
All right. And in Uganda, it's The Observer.
The Observer, yes.
All right. So Yusuf has a new book. It's this. Surrounded, Democracy, Free Markets, and Other Entrapments of Neocolonialism. But before Yusuf authored this book, he had other books, these, and many other books. This is before the first drop, where he was one of the editors, together with Eria Serwanja. Before the first drop, Oil Capitalists and the Wretches of Western Uganda. Then he had this Non-Essential Humans, Essays on Governance, Ruin, and Survival in COVID-19 Uganda. In another episode, we shall discuss these 2 books. So also look out for that episode with Yusuf Serunkuma. But today, we look at his latest publication, this here with me. So Yusuf, let's start with the basics. This title, Surrounded, Democracy, Free Markets, and Other Entrapments of Neocolonialism.
I almost call them seductions.
Seductions.
Of neocolonialism.
Of neocolonialism.
The things that they've become the universal language of the world. Okay. Everybody aspires to be very democratic, to have free market. Free markets have, we've sucked into it. You often hear pro-capitalism opinion in many places. Yeah. I think it's an entrapment. You guys in the civil society world, I think you're trapped into neocolonialism.
Okay.
There are so many seductions, the development industry. All those things look good. Scholarships to students to go study abroad, they look good. But these are the entrapments of colonialism. And I think what we don't have in our time is we don't have the grammar and the tools to make visible the entrapment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go straight into this book. Now that we understand where the title came from, if you were to describe this book in just a few words, yeah.
What I'm trying to do in that book is to make visible what I term as neocolonialism, which is subtle. It's very subtle. It's very technical.
That's the neocolonialism.
It's very depolitical. So you don't have, a colonial office.
You don't have the King's African Rifles.
You don't have men in khakis walking the streets. You don't have the King's tax. You don't have all those obvious colonial tropes. You don't see them. You don't have white-only neighborhoods, right? All those things have been integrated into our culture, into our world. That because the problem is pillage of African resources, pillage of Ugandan resources. You see, every time we go to the election in this country, but we don't go to the election because Museveni wants to win. Museveni wants legitimacy to borrow more money.
All right.
So democracy is the facade, is the mediation that gives them the legitimacy.
Let me get to that. We've often had people talk about this from another angle. They say things like neocolonialism. There's another term they use that I just keep in mind. But they don't. I've not had many people make this
neocolonialism.
about neocolonialism and least of all linking that directly to democracy, for instance, civil society or free market, like you do in this particular book.
One of the things I want to do.
Let me just put the question like this: what's the difference, if there is any, between neocolonialism and neocolonialism?
I struggled with that too, because I want to cover neocolonialism. I want that it's more visible. Neo pretends to, it's a bit of gentrified.
Okay.
Neo seems like it looks like those things before. Neo, that is those things before, but sort of diluted. They're not like obvious. There's a dilution of the tropes of colonialism of those days. And I want to point to a new form, an entirely new form, especially I located in the 1900s rather than the 1990s. That in the 1990s, we see a new form with a new packaging that it has sucked in too many of us into it.
Okay.
It's packaged freshly. It's more technical. It's more subtle. It's more informal. And that even sometimes when the colonizers don't know. But they're part of, people here in the development world who come here to teach Ugandans development, what they call saving culture. They don't know they're part of the colonial mediation team. You see people in the NGO world giving us money. Many of them, I don't think they can articulate they are being part of the colonial institution. Many of us, like elite in the NGO industry, I don't think many can articulate that it's part of the colonial trope. Because if you look at the NGOs, for example, in 1990, we had 500 NGOs. 500. In Uganda.
That's when Museveni famously said, we've opened the space so you can start your...
Yeah, but it's not Museveni opening. It's Museveni being forced to open. Because look at 1990, this economy is collapsed by IMF and the World Bank. They collapsed our economy and they give us free market economics. But the free market is thriving on basically they were saying, how do we get back the thing that we used to get when this country was under colonialism? Our energy sector, our minerals, our coffee. How do you collapse Uganda Coffee Marketing Board? How do you collapse UCB? How do you collapse Uganda Coffee Marketing Board and replace it with Chagalanyi? So how do you collapse UEB and replace it with Umeme? How do you collapse Uganda Commercial Bank and replace it with Stanbic? How do we do that? The language is free markets.
Not to jump the gun. Let's take the things you've mentioned. UEB is gone. Umeme comes. That's 20 years. We are back to UEDCL. Uganda Commercial Bank is gone. Becomes Stanbic, the biggest bank in Uganda.
Godwin, just give me a second. I wanted to build the point of NGOs so that you see there's a point I'm going to miss.
Okay.
But you take me into those things I've mentioned.
Right.
So the people who used to work in these parastatals and public entities were all rendered jobless.
Yes, that is the structural adjustment policy.
And remember, these were educated people.
True.
So they started fighting for the government that works. Now, the governments that had been ruined before, which were actually working, the Amins and the Botes had progressive policies. And you don't look at Amin or Bote alone, look at them across the African continent. All these guys had progressive policies.
Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana.
Between
Nyerere.
1950 and 1990, all of Africa had very progressive policies.
Yes.
Public service was really functional. Mulago Hospital, Uganda Transport Company, all the things were ruined. IMF insisted, if you don't present a certificate of compliance, you'll never get money from World Bank.
And did all African?
Yeah, I mean, many African economists didn't want to privatize their sectors because they said, we are so poor, we don't have rich people in Uganda who will buy and run UEB. We don't have rich people in Uganda who buy and run Nitel. We don't have rich people in Uganda who will buy Uganda Telecoms and run it. And the Mzungu were like, no, it's okay.
We shall buy it.
Rich people from outside, from our countries,
Can buy them.
will come and buy them and run them and take all the money. Now, inside the country, there was agitation for what should we do? We need a government that works. Now, Mzungu understood that the Godwin Tokos, the Yusuf Serunkuma, the Agathas, who are educated, the Godwin Toko, you give them money and tell them the lie that if government is not working, they can help government. If government is failing, they can hold government accountable. Give them money. So civil society sees as being the idea of a civilian society. People who are aware of Lonjibwansi. It becomes an institution.
The Uganda Transporters Association that led to independence in the early days and all.
You have a budget and an office and people you pay. So having a public which is politically sensitive becomes an institutional thing. So Godwin Toko has to hold Museveni accountable. And you said, which put himself in power, has to pay Godwin Toko to hold Museveni, their man, accountable. And Godwin Toko sits back and says, if Godwin was in public health, say, no, Mulago is not working, but you can run a campaign. We'll give you money to run a campaign and improve public health. But look, it was states which did public service in the area of public health.
Okay.
Not individual people. So you see an explosion. You have 500 NGOs.
5,000.
No, 500.
Okay, 1990.
1990. By 2000, you have 4,000.
That's a space of what? 10 years?
Yeah, we have 4,000. By the time Seven and this team want to rain in on them, you know how many they are? 14,000. 14,000 NGOs doing what? If you look at the broad spectrum of the things that you guys register, your associations, your NGOs, to say we're doing public health, democracy, anti-corruption, human rights, all those things between 1990 and where we are now have gone down the drain. But I'm telling you, DGF, you said, will still fund you because they know it's a lie to keep you busy and employed and happy. They give you a soft life.
Okay.
You Godwin, now I see you're enjoying a soft life because you have an NGO also.
I'm not.
You're enjoying a soft life.
But here's the question.
But in the process, you've been trapped. Now, the difference between maybe you and many others is that the idea is Godwin Toko is supposed to be on the street agitating, encouraging people to fight the man who handed over the Kampala's natural resources to white capital. That's what Godwin should be doing. But once they
Which Godwin does, actually.
Which Godwin actually does. But many of you, 14,000 most educated, smartest Ugandans are forging accountabilities and minutes in offices to account for this money. Now, the international donor agencies know that when we give them this money, they actually change nothing, but we keep them busy. And these are the cream de la cream of this place.
Just a quick question there.
And the system continues to produce.
Quick question, surely. Yeah. Wouldn't it be worse without the NGOs?
It's worse already. I don't know what you mean. Would it be worse? It's worse already.
If there was no...
Because look, NGOs serve a job which is non-existent. The job that NGOs do is supposed not to be there. I mean, it's not fair to compare with...
Well, the civil society in the Western world, right?
No.
There
are projects.
Yes.
There are civil society projects. There's a refugee crisis.
Yes.
Then the civil society is one of the refugee crisis. Once this is finished, they disappear.
There were NGOs in Uganda that had projects about, say, COVID. I don't know.
We are institutionalized now.
Okay.
We keep writing proposals and getting funded because also the people funding are also thieves. Then there's some business. You see, you said is funded by Dan Gatler International, who is stealing Congolese resources He pays tax to USAID. USAID brings back the money to you to fight the Ugandan Gatla.
Okay, let's take a
But
specific.
do you see the circus?
Yeah, I see.
You see the
And-
cycle.
and the book brings out that well.
Total comes to Uganda, steals Uganda's oil. Oh, Umeme. Umeme comes to Uganda, steals, loots from Ugandans. Umeme
Then turns around.
goes back to
London, waits
wherever they
to
came, gives money to London. So London, what is UKAID? UKAID comes, UKAID funds Godwin Toko to fight the mess in Uganda. It's a cycle.
Okay, so let's take a specific example. The 6 killer diseases, polio, malaria, blah blah. It's easy to forget that the NGOs played a tremendous role
No, they didn't.
in ending that,
No,
didn't they?
they didn't.
Who played the role?
Yeah, because you see, before you create the NGOs, think about the job they do. These killer diseases were not born yesterday. They were here before 1960. I told you 1960, 1990.
Yes.
We didn't have these many NGOs. And people's lives were way better.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, you may disagree because you want to focus on the Ugandan case, but you forget the Ugandan case.
And look at across
Across the continent. Between 1960, before we have this structure adjustment nonsense,
because
states there had progressive policies in the area of transport, education,
yes.
Public health.
Yeah.
They were way better.
Yeah. But Yusuf, you're painting a picture of the 60s and 70s as Africa's glory days.
Yeah, they were. And it's not me alone.
There were so many-
I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
That period, life expectancy was less than it is today.
No.
Yes, for the average African. The average African is living longer. The average African is more educated. The average African is eating better. The average African is healthier than he was then. Yes, because let me give you specific examples. The period you're talking about was a period of wars that ravaged. There were many more wars across the African continent than there are today. The DRC, the Biafra, Angola, South Africa was under apartheid. Like, so I'm not 100% disputing what you're saying.
Can I come back to that real quick?
Yes.
You say there were wars. I mean, the wars were caused by who?
Partly by the Western world.
And then they realized,
them, yes.
they quickly realized you can steal this African continent without causing any trouble.
Yes.
Have a policy called divide and rule. Call it democracy. Divide and rule.
Well, why is there still a war in Congo?
What's that?
In the DRC, there's still a war.
Because the white people are there.
Yeah. So if there's a war, it's the white people. If there's no war,
I don't
it's
make it up. I don't make it
Yes,
up. I
yes,
don't make it up.
Yes.
So let's come back to Uganda.
Okay.
Let's focus on the Uganda case.
Sure.
In that book, among the things I did, I divided events on the African continent through periods.
Yes.
So, and then the events that happen internally tend to have
Repercussions.
not repercussions, tend to be motivated by foreign interests.
Most of the times.
So when we had coups on the African continent, it was because Mzungu was struggling to have their friendly government in power.
All the time?
All the time. And then that time, so they would go bound and say, Godi, we can give you guns. Why don't you overthrow this guy? So most of our independence leaders were overthrown through coups.
Yep.
If you map the continent,
Yep.
you see there was a time when coups were the in thing.
Yeah.
And then the period we enter liberation struggles. These are not liberation struggles. These are proxy wars of during the Cold War. Are you going to be communist? Are you going to be capitalist?
True.
So you have a period of liberation wars where these liberations are not internally, are not organic to the continent. They are externally imposed. I mean, I studied Somalia. So you have Mohammed Siad Barre being influenced by the Russians
Yes.
to attack Ethiopia.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden he's failing, and then Ethiopia pushes back because they have the funding of the Americans.
Yes.
You see, so you have a time across the African continent where you have liberation wars.
Yes.
They're not organic. Now, after that, after the collapse of USSR, we have a surge in democracy. It's not organic.
Well, yes, because what happened?
We have a surge in the
What
language of
happened in
democracy.
89 is that the Berlin Wall comes down.
No.
USSR is gone.
The point is USSR disappears. There were two conflicting powers.
Yes. The East and the West Bloc.
Socialist
and capitalist.
Germany and capitalist Germany, East and the West. So in the collapse of the USSR, and we have a unipolar world, then you have wars disappear.
The unipolar world of democracies
Yeah,
now. No one is
exactly.
funding the wars anymore.
Then wars disappear. So you say we have less wars now. No, because there's one man stealing. There's no challenger. And you know what happened? They say, what is the best way to loot the African continent? give them free markets. In fact, in the words of Samir Amin, connect free markets to democracy. So look at this country. We're a very small elite. Divide them. Like you see, where Mjisha Muntu, where Balam Bulgari sits in this country, Mjisha Muntu doesn't even know what happened. Where Nabanja sits, a man as smart as, say, Imam Kasozi or Isaac Samakade will not know where Nabanja sits. You see our friend Samji Ibrahim Uganda. Balam Bulgari is in a position to take decisions which affect all of us, and Samji is not. You see, that's the meaning of divide and rule. If you go to Congo, rather to Sudan, South Sudan, they're just two power centers, Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. Now, those two power centers have to sit together and move the country forward because they're the only personnel they have.
Yeah.
Let me finish this point.
Yeah.
But that country is divided where Salva Kiir sits.
Riek Machar can't.
Riek Machar and Salva Kiir is taking decisions
That affect everyone.
the entire country. If they sat at the same table,
The decision probably
they'll
much
be
better.
like, maybe the elite behind Riek Machar will be like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it will maybe awaken them.
Yeah.
But you give them democracy and they're like this.
Okay. Let me come to that point, Yusuf. Isn't that the case with every single country in the world now?
No.
Yeah?
No.
I'll give you, let me first give you an example. Trump in the US is sort of employing people whose competence is being questioned. The Secretary for War now, initially called Secretary for Defense, Hegseth, was a TV presenter. Yeah? And people think that he maybe, there should have been a general maybe in the army, in the American army, to lead things. But where Pete Hegseth sits, the general wants it. You could talk the same of say, you could talk the same of, say, Britain, yeah? That if the winning party takes the day, then people who sit in certain decisions. And then finally, let me give an example, for instance, of China. Unless you grew up in the Communist Party, unless the Communist Party trusts you, you'd probably never rise to certain positions. Yeah. So every president in China is determined by the party. Yeah. And it's not based on competence many times. It's based on loyalty to the party, loyalty to the ideals that they must serve this particular ideal and move in this particular direction. So I think what you're describing as an African problem is definitely an African problem, but not in isolation. It's a problem of politics around the world, everywhere. I would think that probably when Kabaka Mutesa was, not Kabaka Mutesa, Kabaka Daudi Shua was in charge, I would think there are people who probably were competent, but he would never make them chiefs and say, if I made that one, he'll probably be a threat to my power base.
I would love that you read the last chapter in that book.
Okay.
And read it closely. And I sent that chapter that the future...
Is it one of those I'm missing? It's not one of those.
No, it's the future is intelligence-led, not adult universal suffrage, not universal adult suffrage. The future is intelligence-led. What the United States and other countries have managed to do is to fix their bureaucracy. Their bureaucracy is intact. I've said to you before that American presidents are public relations officers.
Until Trump came along.
No. American presidents are public relations officers. They don't have power. Power rests in the hands of the technocrats.
What is the one thing an American president can do, for instance?
I mean, one could be more performative, one could be sleek and smarter, like Barack Obama, who I think is the most horrible American president, horrible to the entire world. And one could be noisy and lacking in finesse, like Donald Trump.
Yes.
But all of them are public. So you hire a good public relations officer in Barack Obama. He presents himself well, he's handsome, speaks well, can read the teleprompter well.
Yeah. Why is Barack Obama your worst American president?
Everything that Trump is doing, Obama did like 10 times.
Yeah, so it's not that... So you take it that he actually made decisions that led to that, right?
No. Like the technocrats, whatever they wanted him to implement.
Then he wouldn't be worst president. The technocrats would be the first.
No. Because the technocrats run those countries.
Granted.
But you see, when we say, so maybe the better phrasing would be, under the time of a public relations officer called Barack Obama, the technocrats escalated their crimes. Under a public relations officer, in the names of Donald Trump, because he couldn't present the actions really well, maybe they slowed down So they had a slick public relations officer. They're like, yeah, we can do whatever we want. This guy will protect it. We'll gloss over, we'll smile in front of the cameras, we'll come up looking good, and media will be debating his suit. You see, they're public relations officers. But the point I want to make is this, that governments are run by technocrats. You fix technocracy, you have a future. You see, I've been working in Belgium.
Yeah.
And those countries can run without politicians.
True. Italy is always running without a president, without a prime minister.
Because the technocrats have been fixed. That's the key point. The technocrats are working now.
100% agree.
Here, our leaders have power and they carry constituencies behind them. So once you give them the they can sign mega deals to foreign capital.
Yes.
And that's what Museveni did. What Museveni understood so well, Museveni's genius, is understanding the time. That the time is Mzungu want to steal from these countries by taking over their economies. And Museveni said, what did you want?
I can give you that.
I can give you. You want the airwaves, I'll give them to you. So passes over airwaves. Uganda Telecom can die and MTN Airtel will take over. You want coffee? 70% of our coffee is in the hands of foreigners. You want money? Our banking regime.
Sector.
24 of them, only 2 can claim
to be indigenous.
Only 2 can claim.
Which are those?
And as we know, Museveni had a man who really did this job so well, called Tumusiime Mutevere. The joke in Kampala was that if Mutevere was driving through his car, and he stopped by a particular bank and looked through the window, there would be a run on that bank. Customers had to go pick their money quickly because Tumusiime Mutevere would order to have that bank closed the next day. And as John Mwanga told us in 2001, that Mutevere closed those banks without minutes.
It was a personal
from 1994. Because our governor, Bank of Uganda, doubled as chief consultant for the World Bank. He was a consultant with
he was implementing whatever.
Yeah, you would think Bank of Uganda would be a securitized institution that no Mzungu enters there. But World Bank has offices inside.
Yeah,
the Bank of Uganda building.
Wasn't that a factoid? I saw you tweeted that, and then people said, well, they do have an office there, but that's not their headquarters.
You would think it's securitized. You think it's a security building. They don't have an office inside the Bank of America. No, neither they have one. It's a securitized building. It should be part of our sovereignty. It should be part of our security apparatus.
Yeah, let's
to have Bank of Uganda only accessed by Ugandans with special clearance, not foreigners.
Yusuf, we know for instance.
You see, Tumusiime Mutevere told us. Professor Suruma.
Yes,
he said
who was the former finance minister?
He said in that place you find more Mzungu than Africans. In the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Uganda. That should be a space of our pride and sovereignty.
100% agreed. But I want to contrast Ugandan case. You see, Uganda actually is on the extreme. Yeah, I think Sonyango Boho wrote and said Uganda overly went to this thing of being private sector led. And
because we have a weak president.
I'm going to get to that. The current PPST, are they called PPST? The Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Finance, Ramadan Gobi. I don't know if he remembers some of the things he tweeted. One of my favorite pastimes is to go and look at some of the old things he tweeted. One of his old tweets says, countries were told to open up their economies. Uganda pulled the door and threw it away from the hinges. So we don't have the door to even close if we wanted to. But the thing here is that Ethiopia didn't, right?
Did what?
Ethiopia didn't go free market like Uganda did.
Yeah, because
so until recently, I think the Kenyan, what's the telecommunication network in Kenya? The biggest is called Safaricom. It became the first time that a private telecom service provider entered their country. You have they have their banks. They didn't go like Uganda went. They have their airline. But still, it doesn't. If you look at the Ethiopian economy, it's not that different from the Ugandan economy.
Have you been there?
Yes, I've been to Ethiopia.
It's not a poor country.
It's not a poor country, but okay, it's not the richest country in the African continent either.
It's number 4.
I mean,
it's a happy country. In that country, they give houses to people.
They're always having wars.
No. I should put that in context for you.
Yes.
So during the time of Prime Minister Meles
Zenawi.
It was a fine gentleman, an economist.
Yes.
He was being challenged by the bodies that put pressure on Museveni.
Bretton Woods institutions.
To privatize. And he said, look, we don't even have the manpower to audit and monitor what you'll be doing. We don't even have that. He pointed, there's an insurance guy who runs a big insurance in the US, in the UK. He says, look at you. Your insurance company is bigger than my economy. If you came to Ethiopia and started running insurance, I don't have people who know how to regulate you.
True.
Most of these banks are way bigger than our economies.
Yes.
And they run technologies that we don't have manpower to regulate.
Yeah.
So Meles, his argument was, allow us, give us a chance to develop.
Reach
the
a particular level
technocrats.
first.
Give us a chance to grow slowly. Give us a chance, if we say privatizing, we need to have some local people who are able to buy. Yeah, Uganda, we didn't have any. This is why many things were left in ruins because there was no buyer and others were taken over by foreign capital.
Okay.
But Melis's genius was no, we're gonna gamble. This is why I'm supporting UEDCL takeover, and I'm asking Ugandans to be patient with UEDCL because they have to learn, and maybe under William Museveni, UEDCL may never stabilize.
That's my fear because
it's
is there
Museveni.
any privately any company
It might
run by the
never.
government
It
of
might
Uganda
never.
that is
It might. Yeah, that's Museveni's way of doing things. It might never stabilize under William Museveni, but under a serious government,
it could.
look at URA. If URA is doing wonders, collecting more money than it's supposed to be, why doesn't Uganda Investment Authority do the same? You see, because URA has the incentive to collect money. They have
Uganda
the
Investment
incentive.
Authority doesn't.
Doesn't have the incentive because the system hasn't given the incentive. Because yet, Uganda Investment Authority is able to collect way more money than URA because from the investors. They should be able to start businesses, to encourage businesses to start to collect more money. But the principle that things have to be owned by the locals is true. Even with the failings of the current government, don't miss the principle. Look around the world. We are sending our girls to the Middle East. Who is mining Saudi Arabian oil? Who is mining Qatar oil? Who is running Qatar Airlines?
The Qatarians.
We're sending our girls to those places. 170,000 Ugandans are in the Middle East. If you call around that entire terrain of the Middle East, those countries are locals, are mining their oil, running their economies, and they are doing wonders. Iran has survived since 1980 under intense sanctions, under punishing sanctions. But everything they do in Iran is locally owned.
Okay. Let me shift gears now. We seem to be going back to the period of a multipolar world, right?
I don't know.
Looks like. I mean, you have China.
Possible, yeah.
The Chinese ideology is different from the American ideology. They're not for democracy. They're not for civil society. By the way, there's a point that I need to make. The US dealt mostly with the Ugandan government until about 2005. Yeah. So, for instance, in the health sector, I think what the crux of the matter was that after what scandal was that? 2000 Global Fund. After the Global Fund, Gavi scandal, around 2005, somewhere there. That's when now the civil society became an alternative to the Western world, where they were saying instead of funding a corrupt government, let's fund civil society. I don't know how that has gone for them. I don't know if they are okay with the results.
It wasn't instead of funding a corrupt government, let's fund civil society. No. We need both of them captured.
I don't know if it's about capturing.
Listen, give government money and
but also give
those threatening to overthrow our government
also money.
Because this is their government. Buy them into a soft life. Goody, you said knows that if they give you $1 million, they know 200K will be to cook back on fufu. They know it. They know you promised in the proposal you're going to spend all their 1 million. They know you spend like maybe half or slightly less than half. They know it.
That's what I'm driving to now, because you see, US aid is normal, right? I don't know any civil society person I've talked over the last few days or few months who has not told me how they are struggling to raise funds. Thanks.
Which I think is good for the society. I want all you guys on the street.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that I don't go to the street,
You're a special case. When I say I want to...
I was arrested. I was arrested this year for being on the street.
Remember, you're 14,000.
See people in the civil society space.
Yeah. No, CEOs. I'm only CEOs. There are 14,000 CEOs.
No, what happens is that...
Go to you.
Let me first
first
clarify
take that in perspective.
No.
You know there are 14,000
Let me clarify.
CEOs.
Let me add to that. So many civil society organizations in Uganda, I name.
Yeah, but there's a name behind the name.
Yeah, many times. I mean, there are civil society organizations I've registered where I am a CEO that are not existent anymore. They will stay on the record. So if it's 14,000, you're probably looking at half of them only being
that's
active.
a good number.
So let's say 7,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
7,000.
okay.
Okay, 10,000. Let's say 10,000.
Think, Godwin. If 7,000 Ugandans
Yes.
are doing your activism,
Yes.
Museveni won't be president.
So why they're not doing
Ugandans.
it is because of society?
Yeah, because they're locked up. They're trapped.
But also know those who are helped by civil society do the activism. I know people who...
Whoa, say that again. What do you mean?
Let's take Agora.
Say that again.
Let's take
No,
Agora.
leave Agora. Leave Agora.
So I know people...
You're talking about yourself.
Yes, I know people...
I want you to give have a view of the spectrum of civil society.
So to a big extent, you're right. Agora, where I work, and I was a very, very instrumental part in running the NGO exhibition that exposed corruption, wastage. In fact, beyond that, it also showed that despite the claims by many civil society actors, there is sexual harassment in the space, there is failure to pay, not failure, refusal. People are getting money and building apartments and they're not paying their staff. You understand? So there is all that corruption, 100% granted. But there are also those, there's the but.
You call it corruption.
What should I call it?
No, that's the design of the system. That's how the machine works. It's
So
not
you know, for instance, that
It's not corruption.
for
It's the
instance,
design
that
of the
there
machine.
are countries in the world that give money to civil society, and if they have queries with the accountability, they can go as far as sanctioning you. American government has sanctioned Ugandans that I know from civil society because they couldn't account for money.
Yeah, but
So if it was the design, why are they being punished that severely?
No, see, the system has mastered the art of camouflage. The system has to criticize itself.
Yes.
So it will pick a Toko.
Make him an example.
Yeah, make him an example, but not necessarily an example. Create the facade of internal accountability. Godwin, the mafia which is in charge of giving money to... You see, when you guys... and I told you, Godwin, that the next time you'll be the one receiving the Human Rights Defenders Award.
No, I've not received it so far. So.
And one of the biggest ironies for me, and you guys need to listen to this, one of the biggest ironies for me is my wonderful friend, Julius Sentongo, receiving an award from Yan Sadek, who is funding him, who a month later was thanking Muhoozi Kainerugaba for the wonderful partnership. And a month earlier was thanking Spire Sentongo for fighting to expose Muhoozi Kainerugaba. And this irony is not missed on them. They know it.
Yes.
But they are designed to do that. Because government means much more to them than your activism.
Yes.
But they have to sustain the facade that we actually love democracy. They don't.
Okay. So that's the gist of this book. Now, as we wind out, we get done with this. So for the viewers, you discuss this from so many angles, right? We are looking at civil society, you're looking at democracy, you're looking at free market, you're looking at scholarships. Just something on the scholarships. There's chevening.
Yeah.
The Russians are here giving scholarships. The Americans are here, Fulbright and all these scholarships. I personally have never got a scholarship yet.
No, you were in South Africa. Who took you there?
So I was in South Africa at the University of Western Cape for a fellowship. It was not a scholarship to study. It was just...
Did they pay you?
No, they didn't. So, you see...
How did you get there? Did you apply? You invited?
Someone at Makerere recommended me. Someone at Makerere said, I think this guy may benefit from... So that's why I was in South Africa. But the thing I'm trying to drive at is this, that... What are you saying in that regard particularly? Yeah, I know there are thousands of Ugandans who feel heartbroken. Thousands of Ugandans.
So first part, when you get a scholarship,
yes,
it's not given to you.
It's given to the country. It's
given to the people of Uganda.
Yes.
So while the money comes to your pocket and you will enjoy it, but that money is counted as aid to government of Uganda. You Toko, in Agora, when you get money from whoever, that money is given to Agora, but in their accounts,
it's the Ugandan.
It's aid to government of Uganda. They have a pool called aid to countries. So it's broken down.
Why is that important? Well,
it's very important.
It's money to Agora.
It's very important to the government because they think they're giving to government. Because that government has to give them things in return. It's not free. Government has to give them things in return because they've given money to Uganda. They've given to Godwin Toko. In Godwin Toko specifically, that's why they ask, nationality please. I am Ugandan. Okay, we're going to give a grant. This is why I met a bunch of Ugandans in Germany, and I was trying to explain this point to them, and then one guy gave me an illustration. Remember when we had this saga over LGBTQ?
Yes.
And the donors were cancelling funding.
Yes.
His fellow had gotten a scholarship to go to the Netherlands. An individual scholarship which he applied for single. He had even secured his visa. And they said, no, we cancelled all aid to Uganda. You're not coming. He said, how am I?
How is that related to the government?
We are cancelling all aid to the government of Uganda, which includes
your scholarship.
So, I mean, I've made the point that when they give you money, but they can't aid to government of Uganda, the government of Uganda has to give them something in return. And for them, they look, I should tell you, Godwin, you see when Mzungu sit in the offices debating other countries, they talk about Uganda as our resources in Uganda. This is documented. This is how they talk about Uganda. They say, oh, we have our things in DRC. How should we get it?
Our company, our people, we give scholarships.
If you ask them, but wait, the gold in Uganda belongs to Ugandans. He said, no. We have a man who is in charge. So when you look at Yoweri Museveni, he's like a
provincial
John Karanja. You know John Karanja, the Chongo's grain of wheat.
No.
A colonial comprador who is ready to serve the interests of empire. And for me to tell you, for you to understand why Museveni has stayed in power for long.
And Uncle Tom in the language of Malcolm X.
40 years. It's because the powers that be want him to stay. Let me give you one example as you move. There used to be a general in Indonesia called General Suharto.
Yeah.
That man did way worse crimes than Yoweri Museveni. But for 40 years, he was the lion of Indonesia because the Americans wanted him to be.
Let me just ask you the last question.
In the 1990s, the Americans are rolling out structure adjustment, and Suharto was hesitant. He was like, you see how things are working for people, so if we open up, and then a single phone call from the US asked Suharto to resign in 1 week. And he resigned. The next president of Indonesia after that was in a bar drinking with the American ambassador, and he said, you man, you have to be prepared. You're swearing in tomorrow. He said, what do you mean I'm swearing in tomorrow? He said, Suharto is resigning. It's like, I've not had the news. He said, you man, you get prepared. You're swearing in tomorrow.
Okay. So that's what the West does to all these. Now the question then becomes, the final question I'm going to ask, because now we have watched our time as our producer is telling us. Is this perpetual? Is there a way the third world, Uganda, Kenya, can escape these entrapments?
Yeah, you
Is
can.
there hope?
You can.
How?
So this is where Museveni comes in. Museveni has denied us the opportunity to do it. He says because when governments keep changing their leaders, if the machine is not very powerful also, the machine has to negotiate with the new guy. And the new guy may be a good negotiator. He'll be like,
I'll give you this, but I'll take that.
I campaigned on these tickets, I need to. And Ghana is a wonderful example. Because Ghana has been going through, so is Zambia. So what Museveni has denied us is this thing to say,
can someone else come and negotiate on different terms?
Yes, let me leave. Not because Ugandans can kick him out, but he had to take it in his heart to say, let me just get up. So that when Godwin Toko goes, Godwin Toko will understand the assignment. But he'll be like, but I campaigned on this. I can't give this to you. If Chagulanyi came in, he'll be doing the same things as Yoweri Museveni. But they will have to negotiate with him. Which
he will have the give and take.
And they will have a give and take. So he might make concessions. But you see, Museveni has been there. It has been business usual.
So they are used to their man.
Yes, for the last 40 years. And because Museveni is more desperate, he keeps giving more. This is why they talk about us as what we call about refugee heaven. Poorest country.
But people who are generous.
Yeah, but because we have a man who is desperate to keep them.
Okay. So thank you very much. Our viewers, how much is this book?
It's 50,000.
And where can guys find it?
The online outlet Mahiri Books sells
Mahiri Bookstores.
It's available at Misa.
Misa is Makerere Institute of Social Research.
In many places online, you can always get it.
Okay. So look out for this book. It's going to be a very enjoyable one. There's some things there that, I think Yusuf may be wrong, but there's a lot of things that I think maybe he's right, and that's why we had this debate. So see you on the next edition. Look out for this book. I hope you'll enjoy it when you get it. Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of Voice in Print. The stories don't end when the book closes. They live on in the minds of the readers. Stay curious, Keep exploring until we meet again to uncover more voices behind the pages. For the latest episodes, subscribe to the YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on all podcast streaming platforms.